Clint Cosgrove with Rivals.com here with Arizona head football coach Jedd Fisch. Coach Fisch, great having you on. It's been a long time. I know it's a little different than signing days of the past today. How does this rate to past Februaries for you?
Yeah, well, Clint, we had a February together back in 2009, so it's good to see you again and good to be on here with you. It's so different. We signed in our class. We ended up signing, I believe it was 24 players, and then 7 transfers, and all of them signed prior to today. So all 24 signed in the early signing period. And then we had the transfer signed throughout the last few weeks. So we wound up having we weren't staring at the fax machine this morning.
I remember doing that with Coach Brew back in the day. Those times have certainly changed. Now, when you got to Arizona, I know there was a big focus on changing that culture, and that would lead to a change in the roster and then a change in the win column. You have the top class in the Pac-12 right now, one of the top classes in the nation. Just tell me about the process and how you go about, getting from last year to now and, signing such an impressive class.
Yeah, we got here and our feeling was, okay, we only had 2 scholarships available. Everybody else was signed. We signed Isaiah Taylor and Anthony Simpson last year. And then we said, okay, we need to concentrate on our own football team. And we've got to find a way to compete in every game, play as hard as we can possibly play, be as good as we can be, and see what happens. And while doing that, we need to build up our roster, and we need to find a way to absolutely make recruiting the priority. Coach Spurrier once said, how do you win on the road? You bring a good team, and we felt like we needed to just upgrade our talent at every position. As much as we, loved our players that we had, we wanted to get better at every spot. We really scoured, California. I think we signed 15 from California. We scoured Arizona, our own state, signed another 5 from here, plus, a ton of PWOs. And then, nationally went and grabbed a couple guys out of Boston and a couple other guys and then hit the portal. But we're trying to flip our entire roster, Clint. We've got, I think by training camp next year, we should have somewhere between 45 and 50 new players.
Incredible. In a short span of time, too. Speaking of national recruits, what many would consider the headliner of this class, T-Mac, maybe a battle that Arizona doesn't win in past years.
Yeah.
Tell me about how do you go about landing a guy like him?
Well, I think we had a lot of forces working with us, and then, of course, a lot of forces working against us. The forces against us were history, were the fact that just traditionally Arizona hasn't signed that type of player in football. They sign them in basketball. And we needed to change that. We needed to be able to stand up and say we can do the same in football. So how do we sell that message? Well, we had to sell it. Number one, we had 3 of his teammates on our in this class. So Noah Fafita, Jacob Manu, and Kean Burnett. Kean decommitted from another program and joined our program. Noah stayed true throughout, no matter how many teams approached him. He was our first quarterback, only quarterback offered. And then Jacob Manu, the linebacker, after I watched him play live. And I think all of them kept recruiting T-Mac and kept recruiting T-Mac and kept saying, come join the party. And we just stayed consistent with him. He came on an official visit in June, committed elsewhere, and then came back around in December when he made his decision. And when he made that decision, it was just a monster moment for our program because, again, we haven't had a 5-star player ever commit to Arizona football. He's our very first, hopefully not our very last. And I believe he's what put us over the edge with Rivals when he and Speedy Luke committed back-to-back. That was pretty big.
Yeah, no, 2 huge recruiting wins, big fans of both. I know all of us at Rivals are. Speaking of Luke, how about his showing at the All-American game, leaves with the MVP, very talented kid, can make big plays in a lot of different ways. You see him break off a huge run for a touchdown in the game, catches a pass for a touchdown. Tell me about his skill set. He pledged on air. How did that all come together? Another big recruiting win.
Yeah, so he's obviously elite when it comes to speed, right? And there's certain traits and characteristics that override any other trait and characteristic, and you say, okay, what's his size? What's his speed? And when the speeds are in the 10.4, 10.3, 10.2 area, you just kind of end it there. And you
Yeah.
say, okay, how do we get that on our team? Then you get to meet the kid, and he is the most wonderful kid. Amazing personality, energy, passion for the game, loves it. And then he has the commitment sandwich, right? Touchdown, commit, touchdown. The rare, rare,
Can't beat
rare
it.
sandwich. You can't ask for it better on TV. And then he's the MVP. I don't know how many times Arizona football has had the All American game MVP. I think it was our first. So,
I
for that to happen, in addition to some of these other great players, and it just kept going with Ephesians Price Sock and Kevin Green, and the numbers just kept going, and the phone calls kept coming in, and the guys that stayed committed throughout. Even when we were 111, Deuce Lane never, walked away, never said, I'm not sure if this is what I want to do. And that was what was so cool about some of the elite players on this list.
Yeah, you mentioned the touchdown commit touchdown sandwich. That might be a first of all time. That's I didn't even realize it happened like that, but looking back, it definitely did. That's incredible. A kid you mentioned earlier, teammate of T-Mac, Fafita. Tell me about him. I mean, are other teams maybe missing out on him because of his height? I mean, he's got an impressive skill set himself.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at Noah, and for me, when I watched them, it was a no-brainer. I think that some people end up, wanting to talk themselves out of a guy based on, something like height when it comes to a quarterback. When you look at his hand size, you have no concern. When you look at his pocket presence, you have no concern. When you look at the league he played in, right, Mater Dei and Bosco and the Trinity League teams that he played against, he went against the best high school programs in the country for 3 years from being at Servite, and beat Bosco in the semifinals and played Mater Dei in the finals, and you could see how he could handle those type players. So I'm confident that that Noah's going to give us a heck of a confidence at the quarterback position.
Awesome. Now, I won't take too much of your time, but I want to touch on the transfer portal because you didn't do a ton there, but the guys that you're bringing in are, immediate impact guys, difference makers like Jaden DeLaura, freshman conference player of the year, led the league in passing and touchdowns during conference play. Just tell me about your overall approach to the transfer portal, how you're going to use it to your benefit, and maybe touch on what DeLaura brings to the team.
Yeah, that was a huge get for our team. We saw him live and in color. We played Washington State. He threw 4 touchdown passes against us. The second to last game of the season in bad weather. He made some unbelievable plays right in front of our bench. You could just see, I'm like, wow, this guy's special. And then I didn't expect for 1 second that a guy like that becomes available. Freshman, player of the year, Pac-12 conference, can rip it around. But he did become available. And within, I think, 3 minutes of him going in the portal, we had contact. And then we completely did everything we could to swarm him and to, via phone, via text, via messaging, and get him on campus. And we got him on an official visit within 24 to 48 hours, I think, of him being in the portal. And we didn't let him leave.
That's the way to get them on campus and don't let them leave. Well, I appreciate your time, Coach. I know you're a busy guy. You got a big recruiting event tonight, but can't thank you enough for coming on. Arizona head coach Jedd Fisch, thanks for coming on.
All right. Thanks, Clint. Appreciate it. Good seeing you.